Hi everyone, welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be showing the books that I read in the month of November. I read some really good books this month. I read 10 and a half, which makes me extremely happy, and they were all part of my TBR, which is even better. They were all hits. I don't think I had any misses this month, but just really makes me happy. So the first book I want to show you is the one I just needed to finish, which was Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. Sorry if you can hear that. I hate that so much. But yeah, I just needed to finish. I only had maybe 100 pages left before it was done, so I finished this the beginning of November, and this follows Selena, who is an assassin. And in the beginning of the book, she's in the salt mines of Endovier, which is like a prison for slaves, and the crown prince comes to her and tells her that she can leave the salt mines with him, and she has to go back to the palace and compete to become the champion of the king, who is... I really hate this. I hate the dogs out there. They really annoy me. I'm sorry if you can hear that. So yeah, I mean, it's just a really good book. It did get a little slow here and there, but I really enjoyed it, and I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. So the next book I picked up was Fire Study by Mary V. Snyder. This is the third book in the Poison Study series, and I really loved it. I am loving the series so far. It's so good. This one follows Yelena, who in the first book she was the food taster for the commander. I'm not kidding you, I really hate those dogs out there. She's supposed to shut up. Oh my god. Sorry. This is what I get for choosing the room that faces them. So yeah, Yelena is a food taster for the commander in Ixia, and in the second book she traveled to Scythia, which is a country full of magic. In Ixia they don't allow magic, so yeah, she's in Scythia right now, and she's the liaison for Scythia and Ixia, which is really good because she loves both countries. And she's just making sure none of them go to war, which is definitely coming. You know, you can feel the tension between them. And of course all this stuff happens, like in all the other books, it's coming. Like, you can just feel something's going down, like gonna go down. And I loved it. I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars. I love Yelena and Valek. They're like one of my absolute favorite couples. I just love them. And yeah, I gave 5 out of 5 stars. And then I followed that with Shadow Study by Mary V. Snyder. This is the 4th book in the Poison Study series. And this one was so good. So good. Actually, you know what? I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. I'm sorry. Forgot about that. I gave that 4 out of 5 stars. This one I gave 5 out of 5 stars. I loved it. I love this so much. This one follows, it's 6 years after Fire Study. So you're like missing a lot. And in the beginning of that, it's like in the very beginning of this book, I'm like, what happened? Like, I really have to go through a 6-year gap? That's not right. So I was going to, I wasn't going to give it a full 5 stars because of that. But I realized, see, you follow, you get 3 points of view in this. You get 3 perspectives, which is Yelena, which is a given, Valek, and, oh, come on, Janko. And it's like, I love Janko. He's one of my favorite characters. He makes me laugh so much. But I just feel like at times I just felt like he wasn't necessary. But I love him anyway, so I dealt with it, and I love him. It's okay. But again, I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. It was so good. So in the beginning, there's that 6-year gap, and I really hate the 6-year gap because, of course, you know, in the beginning of this book, you're trying to catch up with everything that had happened. And you know, like, there's a lot that went on those 6 years. And I'm like, Opal is Opal's a character in here, and I felt like she had so much going on, and I never knew what happened. Like, I'm like, are you kidding me? You're telling me this, like, right, like, after the 6 years, you're telling me how her life went on? I really wish she had a story, right? I really wish she had a book that I could read that happened. So, I'm reading this, and then I go on to see if, One Marie, Night Study is coming out, which is in January, which I'm really excited. And I look, and I noticed that there's another book called Stormglass, and I knew she had other series, but I really wasn't paying attention to those right away. And I noticed that Stormglass is Opal. So I should have read Stormglass and that trilogy before I touched this one. But it's okay, because I'm going back. I'm sort of reading Stormglass right now. Sort of. I'm only reading a couple pages here and there, so I'm not really counting it for my TBR, but I definitely want to read it soon, especially before Night Study comes out. So I probably will get to that in January. But I really love this, and the ending is insane. The ending is just so insane. I love this though. 5 out of 5 stars. Alright, so then I picked up Crown of Midnight by Sarah J. Maas. It's the sequel to Throne of Glass, and I love this book. This book was amazing. It was so much better than Throne of Glass. 5 out of 5 stars. Oh my god, it was so good. And it follows, like, just like, I want to say like a month after she becomes champion. But you knew she was going to become champion. You knew that. I'm sorry if I spoiled it for you. I'm sorry. But it's a month after the ending of Throne of Glass. And it was really, oh my god, this book is just amazing. Stuff happens in this book, and I really, really loved it. The ending, though, kind of annoyed me. But that ending, like, towards the ending was kind of annoying. I felt like, yeah, I get everything I want, and then there it goes, there it goes, there it goes. No, don't leave me, you know? It was annoying. But the very ending was so good. I kind of had a feeling, like, I kind of had it, you know, like, it was sort of predictable, but it just, like, I don't want to say it, but there's a point in this book, and you're like, that something happens, and you're like, okay, it's kind of predictable. But she kind of, like, throws it off, you know? Like, she kind of tries to lead you away from it, sort of. But I still love this book. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. So then, I set aside the Throne of Glass series, and I started November 9 by Colleen Hoover. Because it was November... I finished this on November 9th. And I picked this up November 10th. So, so good. This is November 9 by Colleen Hoover, which is about a girl named Fallon, who was in a fire, I want to say that was like 5 years before, or something like that, and she was in a fire, and it really, disfigured her face, and she feels like whenever anybody looks at her, you know, it's all sympathy and pity, and they kind of look away, because they don't know what to say to her, and, her father's an asshole. I hate her father. At least, yeah. I mean, towards the ending, he sort of, you know, you really don't really care either way, but in the very beginning, he's an asshole and I don't like him. So she's going through a lot. And Ben, who is an aspiring novelist, he wants to write a book, they meet, and she is actually moving to New York. I believe it's set in Los Angeles. I want to say it's set in Los Angeles. I did a whole review on this, and I can't remember, so if I'm not making any sense, go and see my review. I'm hoping that's so much better than this. But they meet one day, and she's moving the next day. And so they only have one day to be together, and they decide to cut off all communication for an entire year, and then they will meet every November 9th and tell each other how that year has been and see where they are for 5 years. That's what they want to do. They want to do it for 5 years until she turns 23, because then she feels like she'll be ready to have a relationship with him. And it's so good, and there's so much stuff that happens in this book, and I loved it. The ending is sort of predictable, again, but I still loved it, and I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. And another book came out November 10th, which I had to read the minute I finished that one, was Winter by Marissa Meyer. This is the final book in a Lunar Chronicle series, though there is a set of novellas called Stars Above coming out in February, which I'm extremely excited for, because I believe that is an epilogue. And that's the one thing in this book that I wanted so bad, was an epilogue. I wanted more of an ending, and I believe in Stars Above you get that. So I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it anyway, but I'm really hoping there's an epilogue in there, somehow. And yeah, this is the final book in the Lunar Chronicle series, so this one follows Winter and Jason, as well as Cinder, Scarlet, Wolf, Thorn, and Kai, and Lavanna, and this was so good. I'm not going to say anything because this is like the 4th book in the series, so if you haven't picked up Cinder, do it. It's so good. These are like fairy tale retellings, like Cinder is Cinderella, Scarlet is Red Riding Hood, Cress is Rapunzel, and Winter is Snow White, which they're all fantastic. I love them. Cress, I believe, was my favorite until I read Winter, and I love this one. This one is humongous. This is 823 pages. So, and Cress was like 550, so this one's bigger. It just doesn't seem bigger. I think the pages are flimsier, I want to say, or thinner. It's still really, really good. I loved it. I love Winter and Jason. They're a fantastic couple. And the ending was good. I just really want an epilogue. So yeah, pick up the series if you have it. So after Winter, I had to go back to Airfire by Sarah J. Maas. I had to read this book. It was fantastic. I loved it. It was 5 out of 5 stars. This was my favorite. Until I started reading, until Queen of Shadows comes. Yeah, this was my favorite. And I loved it. I so loved it. I believe this was like a couple months after the ending of Crowd of Midnight, and she's in Wendland, which is a magic-free, it's a country where magic is fun, in Ardalan, where she is, or in that country, there is no, I think it's Aurelia, which is the country name. There is no magic. Magic is bound. And magic is free in Wendland. That's where she is right now. And it's so good. She meets Rowan. And, when I'm watching everyone, like I'm watching all these booktube videos, and I see how everyone is saying, because I was a Dorian Kale fan. Like, I knew there's a love triangle. And everyone goes, screw Dorian and Kale. I love Rowan. And I'm like, who the hell is Rowan? What does he have to do with anything? Wait, what? And then I read it, and I'm like, screw Dorian and Kale. I love Rowan. Like, seriously, Rowan is amazing. I love him. He is so fine. Oh, he is, seriously, I love him. And I love Selena and Rowan, and they're so good together. Oh my god. I love this book. I loved it. 5 out of 5 stars. So, after Airfire, and technically I was reading these in between, sorry, that's my alarm on my phone, shut up. In between reading all of the other books, I was also reading another series. See, what happens is these books are humongous and they don't fit my purse well, especially Winter. That did not fit in my purse at all. That was not happening. So, when I went out, when I wasn't at home, I was reading the Percy Jackson Olympian series. So I started with Titan's Curse, and I really, really enjoyed this one. I believe I gave this 5 out of 5 stars, right? Yeah, I gave this one 5 out of 5 stars. I really, really love this one. This one follows Percy. I can't remember. I read this one like in the beginning, or yeah, like towards the beginning of the month. This one follows Percy and Annabeth and Grover, and they're finding other demigods, and so good, really good. I'm not doing a very good job, but this is the 3rd book in the series. This is Titan's Curse. This is book 3. If you have picked up the Percy Jackson series, really do it. It's so amazing. Rick Riordan has a way with words, especially with mythology, I love it. This follows Greek mythology. He has another series which is Roman mythology, and then there's Norse, and there's Egyptian, and I love mythology, and I love what he's done with it. He's amazing. I love it. Then I picked up The Battle of the Labyrinth by Rick Riordan, which is the 4th book. And I liked it. I felt like this one fell a little flat for me. Well, compared to the Titan's Curse, I felt like this one was good, but it didn't hold up to that. So I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. But this one, they're in the labyrinth that Daedalus made. If you don't know what I'm talking about, read the book. I love this mythology, and yeah, read the book. So after I read that one, which I liked, but I gave that one 4 out of 5 stars, like I said, I finished the series, and I read The Last Olympian, the 5th and final book in the Percy Jackson series. And I love this book. Oh my god, everything that went down. The ending, of course, was always my favorite. I mean, this is like my 2nd time reading the whole series, but every time I do, I fall in love with it more. 5 out of 5 stars. Amazing. I love Percy and Annabeth. And I love Grover and Juniper. Oh, they're so good together. Oh my god. I love the characters in here. And I thought that ending was fantastic. Though, of course, it continues on in the Heroes of Olympus series. Percy rises again. I love him. So yeah, those are all the books I read, though I did read some of another, which was Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas. I ran to the store when I was finished with Airfire, and I bought this book because I just couldn't help it. I told myself I wanted to wait for it to be in paperback, which was going to be next year sometime. And then I'm like, what, are you kidding? Don't do it. Go and get it now. Just forget it. You know, I have the first, 4 books in paperback, and now I have the 5th, well, because Assassin's Blade, I'm counting that. So this one I have in hardcover, and I'll get the rest of the series in hardcover. I love this series. Oh my god. This one, this is fantastic. This is my new favorite, and I am, where am I? Oh my god. I am 338 out of 646. I love this series. I love this book especially. Rowan, everybody, I love Rowan. And Adian, oh my god, I think that's how you say his name. I have no idea. But oh my god, this book is fantastic. I want to say a little more than halfway, but I absolutely love it. I'm definitely finishing this soon. Very, very soon. Alright, everybody, that is everything that I've read for this month. I have to go. I have to run errands, so thank God I just finished this. I will be back very soon with my December TBR, which, again, I am focusing on series, and not so much as just first in the series or standalones. I'm focusing on finishing series, which it would really, really help me. So, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time.